Hello, dear viewers. My name is Dr. Mohmad Pandit, Assistant Professor at the English Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today, in this video lecture, I will deliberate on the topic simple, compound, and complex sentences. In this topic, you will come to know what's simple sentence, how to identify simple sentence, and how you can differentiate simple sentence from the rest of the two, that is compound sentence and complex sentence. Here we will talk about how we can change simple sentence into complex or the compound sentence and vice versa. That means the transformation of sentences. Let us start with this simple sentence. What's simple sentence? A simple sentence is a sentence that has one finite verb. If you want to identify or if you want to differentiate simple sentence from the rest of the two, that's the compound sentence and complex sentence, just look for one finite verb. In other words, if a sentence carries as a finite verb, one finite verb, if a sentence carries one finite verb, surely that sentence will be a simple sentence. Now, in order to understand it completely, we need to understand what is finite verb at first and then non-finite verb. If you really want to understand, or if you really want to differentiate simple sentence from the compound and complex sentences, you need to understand what's finite verb and non-finite verb. Because as I told you, a simple sentence is a sentence that carries one finite verb. Now, what's finite verb? Two things you need to remember. The first one is, finite verb is a verb that shows time of an action. And the opposite of finite verb is non-finite verb. And that's why we say non, means not finite. Therefore, non-finite verb will be the verb that doesn't show time of an action. Remember, first point is that the finite verb is a verb that shows time of an action. And the non-finite verb, that means it's opposite. Non-finite verb is a verb that doesn't show time of an action. And the second point is finite verb changes. If we bring change in the number, gender, or the person or the subject, which means, for example, if you change the number of subject from singular to plural, or if you change the person of the subject from, for example, from first person to second person or third person, vice versa. And with this change, if this verb changes, we call it finite verb. To make it more explicit, finite verb changes when we bring change in the number or the person of the subject. Now, I will try to explain these things with the help of examples. For example, look here. We have a sentences. In fact, we have 4 sentences. In these 4 sentences, in each sentence, we have 2 verbs. And here you can identify or you can differentiate this finite verb from the non-finite verb. If we take the first sentence, he, this is subject, followed by tries. This is verb in first form. And then we have took plus sing. This is verb in first form because we know sing, it's the verb first form, its second form is sang, and its third form is sung. And then we have this is article, and then we have song. Song is a noun. Now, the first point is the finite verb is a verb that shows the time of an action. If you look at the sentence, it is the verb tries that shows the time of an action, that shows present time. Therefore, we can say that this sentence, it is a simple sentence because it carries only one finite verb. Yes, of course, there's one more verb that is sing, to sing. But to sing, it doesn't show time of an action. Therefore, we can say that it's a non-finite verb. And as I told you, simple sentence is a sentence where there is only one finite verb. That means a verb that shows the time of an action. Now, if you look at the second sentence, again we have this try in third sentence and tried in fourth sentence. In the second sentence, it shows the present time. In the third sentence, again it shows the present time. In the fourth, it shows the past time. In all these sentences, we have the verb try or tries or tried. These verbs tries, try and try. They're all finite verbs because they show the time of an action. In the first three sentences, it shows the present time, and in the last one, it shows the past time. And there's one more verb, sing, and the sing, it doesn't show time of an action. Therefore, we can say it's non-finite verb. And the second important point, finite verb is a verb that changes when we change the sub number or gender or the person of the subject. And the non-finite verb is the opposite of it. And what's the non-finite verb? Non-finite verb is a verb that doesn't change if we change the number or if we change the person of the subject. For example, if you look at the sentence, first sentence, in the first sentence, our subject is third person singular. And in the second sentence, again it is third person. But it is third person plural. Now, when we have changed this number of the subject, and with this change, if the verb changes, we call it finite verb. And if the verb doesn't change, we call it non-finite verb. Now look at, here in the first sentence, we have tries. And in the second sentence, we have only try. Therefore, we can say that tries and try, they are finite verbs because they change when we change number of the subject. And there's one more verb, that's to sing, it remained unchanged when we changed this number of the subject. And these sentences, both these sentences, they are simple sentences because they carry only one finite verb. Yes, of course, there's one more verb, and that's to sing, but that's non-finite verb. We have nothing to do with that. And if you look, one more thing, if we change the person of the subject, and with this change, if the verb changed, we call it finite verb. Like here, if you look at the first sentence and the third sentence, in the first sentence, our subject is he, that's singular. And in the third sentence, we have the subject I, again that's singular. But there's a difference of person, okay? Because the first sentence, it's the third person, and the third sentence, it is the first person. Now, if you change the person of the subject, and with this change, if the verb changes, we call it finite verb. Now here, look, in the first sentence, we have tries, and in the third sentence, we have only try. And when we change this person of the subject, and this with this change, one verb did not change, and that is sing, sing, sing. It remained same in every sentence. We call it non-finite. Therefore, in order to sum up, in order to understand the simple sentence, you need to understand what is finite verb and non-finite verb. And what's the simple sentence? Simple sentence is a sentence that carries only one finite verb. And what is this finite verb? Finite verb is a verb that shows time of an action, number one. Number second, finite verb is a verb that changes when we bring change in the number and gender or the person of the subject. And the non-finite verb is the opposite of it. What's the non-finite verb? Non-finite verb is a verb that doesn't show time of an action. Second point, non-finite verb doesn't change if we bring change in the number or gender or the person of the subject. Like here, to sing, to sing, to sing, it remained unchanged in all the sentences. Therefore, we can say that it's a non-finite verb. And this to sing, to sing, to sing, it doesn't show time of an action. Therefore, we can say this is non-finite verb. It's the only verb, tries, try, that changed when we changed the number and the person of the subject. Therefore, we can say it's finite verb. And it's the verb try, tries, tried that shows the time of an action. For example, if I change the tense, and with the change of tense, if the verb changed, we call it finite verb. Like, for example, if I write, I will try to sing a song. Again, this is subject, will try. It shows the future time, or it shows the time. Therefore, we can say it's a finite verb. Now, again, there is a sing, to sing. With the change in the tense, this to sing, it remained unchanged. That's why we call it non-finite. It doesn't change if you change the tense, if you change the number or the person of the subject. It remains same. And our main concern is the simple sentence. Now, to be exact, we can say that all these sentences are simple sentences because all these sentences carry one finite verb, and that one finite verb is tries. This one. In the first sentence, it is tries, try, and in the last sentence, it is tried. We can say that these are the simple sentences. Now, to make it more explicit, we need to understand this non-finite verb in detail. Because the non-finite verb, as I told you, non-finite verb is a verb that doesn't show time of an action, number one. Number second, this non-finite verb, it doesn't change if you change the number, person, or the gender of the subject. In other words, we can say it remains unchanged. But this non-finite verb, it has three kinds. And the first one is the infinitive, then we have the participle, and the last one is the gerund. We'll take these one by one so that we can differentiate, or so that we can identify simple sentence, or we can differentiate simple sentence from the rest of the two, that's the compound sentence or the complex sentence. Now, what's this infinitive? Infinitive means to plus verb in first form. That means to plus base form of verb. Now here, if I look at the first sentence, this is subject, like, this is verb in first form. And the like verb, it is different from same. Why? Because here in this sentence, it is the like that shows the time of an action. Therefore, this like, it's a finite verb. Then we have the infinitive, that means non-finite verb to plus base form of verb. And then we have the preposition, article, and then we have the noun. Now this sentence, it is a simple sentence. Why? Because it carries only one finite verb, and that's like. There's one more verb, and that verb is to swim, infinitive, non-finite verb. It doesn't show time of an action. In fact, it will not change if you change the subject, or if you change the number of subject, if you change the gender of subject, if you change the person of the subject, or if you change the tense of the sentence. For example, if I change the tense, I will make it a future tense. I will like to swim across the river. Now see, will like, this is future tense. When I changed the tense of the sentence, this non-finite verb, this infinitive, it remained unchanged. That means to say. Now change the tense. If you make it past tense, again, it will remain unchanged. This to say, because this is non-finite verb. It's infinitive. And once again, I want to remind you that a simple sentence is a sentence that carries one finite verb. Therefore, this sentence is a simple sentence because it carries one finite verb. And remember, this infinitive, sometimes it acts as a subject of the main verb. Sometimes it acts as an object of the main verb. Or sometimes it acts as object of the preposition. For example, if the first sentence we have I, this is subject. Then we have the verb, main verb, like. And here to swim infinitive, it acts as object of the main verb, that's like. But sometimes it acts as a subject of the main verb, like here, to err is human. Now here, this is the main verb. And its subject is to err. And what's this to err? It's to plus err is verb in first form. Therefore, in this sentence, this infinitive to err, it acts as subject of the main verb is. That's why I told you that sometimes it acts as a subject of the main verb, sometimes it acts as an object of the main verb, or at times it acts as an object of the preposition. But the basic thing is that it doesn't show time of an action. It doesn't change if you change the number, gender, or the person of the subject, or if you change the tense of the sentence. It remains unchanged. Now, here in the first sentence, it's I like to swim across the river. It's a simple sentence because it carries only one finite verb. And then we have the participle. Participle, again, it's a non-finite verb. It's a non-finite verb that at times behaves like a verb and an adjective, which means at times it behaves, or it has the force, or it has the nature of both verb and an adjective, like here. And it has many forms, like it has ing form, it has t form, or it has ed form, and it has n form. That means sometimes you can find it in ing form, sometimes in ed or t or n form. It has many forms. But again, it's a non-finite verb. That means it doesn't show time of action. It doesn't change if you change the number, gender, or the person of the subject. And here we will see. And one more thing, it at times or sometimes it behaves both a verb and an adjective, like here. If you look at the first sentence, what's our first sentence? A rolling stone gathers numbers. Now this gathers, this is verb in first form. That means it shows the present time. And that means it's a finite verb. And here we have the stone. Stone is a noun. And then we have, this is article. And then we have a rolling. Rolling word, it's derived from a root word, that's role. And the role is a verb. But at the same time, this rolling, it qualifies noun. And a word that qualifies noun is called an adjective. It's not an ordinary stone, it's a stone that's rolling, that's sliding, that's falling down. Therefore, the rolling, it qualifies noun stone. Therefore, we can say that the rolling has a force or the nature of an adjective. And here, this rolling, it's a participle. It behaves both a verb and an adjective. And now, if you change the tense of the sentence, this rolling stone, it will not change. This rolling will not change, in fact. If you change the tense, if you change anything, it remains same. That's why we can say again, this is a simple sentence because here we have only one verb and that is gathers. We have only one finite verb and that's gathers. And look at the second one. We have the second example. And the second example, it's like this. We have this reading the newspaper. He sat in the chair. Reading, it's a participle. And then we have the newspaper. The is article and the newspaper is noun. Then we have he, third person singular as subject. And then we have sat. The sat, it's a verb in second form. It's a finite verb. It shows the time of an action. Then we have in is a preposition. And then we have the, that's article, and chair is a noun. Now, look at this sentence. Here again, we have only one finite verb and that's sat. Therefore, we can say that the sentence is a simple sentence. We have one more verb, that's reading, but that reading doesn't show time of an action. And that reading will not change if you change the tense of the sentence. In other words, it's a non-finite verb. In fact, it's a participle. Like a reading, it is derived from the base word read. And who's reading? This he is reading. And this reading, it doesn't show time of an action. Now change the tense of the sentence and it will not change. It will remain always same. For example, if I write here like this, reading the newspaper, he sits in the chair. Now the first sentence we have sat verb in second form. Here we have sits. This is verb in first form. In the first sentence it's present time, and in the first sentence it's past time, and in the second sentence it's present time. And the reading, it remained unchanged. When I change the tense of the sentence, it remained unchanged. Therefore, we can say it's a non-finite verb. It's a participle. And the sentence is therefore a simple sentence because it carries only one finite verb. I just want to remind you, what's this finite verb? Finite verb is a verb that shows time of an action. Finite verb is a verb that changes when we change the tense of the subject. Third, finite verb is a verb that changes when we change the number, gender, or the person of the subject. Now, the next one, we have the next example. If you look at the next example, as I told you, that it has different forms like ing, t, ed, and n form. Look at here. This is article, burnt, it's participle, child, it's noun, dreads, it's finite verb in first form. Now, burnt, we use this word burnt as a verb. It is derived from a base word, root word burn, and that's a verb. And what kind of child is this? It's a burnt child. It qualifies now. Therefore, it's an adjective. Here, if you look at the word burnt, it behaves both as a verb and an adjective. Therefore, we can say it's a participle. And this participle is a non-finite verb. And ultimately, we can say that the sentence, it's a simple sentence because it carries only one finite verb, and that verb is threads. And if you look at the next example, his tattered coat needs mending. Here again, we have a one finite verb, and that's needs finite verb. It shows the present time. Then we have tatter. We use tatter as a verb also. Therefore, we can say that this word tatter, it's a verb. But at the same time, if you look at this tatter, it qualifies another noun, that's a coat. And a word that qualifies a noun, we call it adjective. This word tattered, it has a force, it has a nature, it has a character, it has a behavior of both verb and adjective, and therefore it is participle, that means non-finite verb. Now look at all these sentences. All of these sentences, they are simple sentences because they carry only one finite verb. Yes, of course, we have another verbs here, like we are rolling in the first sentence, we are reading in the second sentence, we are burnt in the third sentence, we are tattered in the fourth sentence. But all these verbs, they do not, for example, show time of an action. Even they will not change. If you change, for example, tense of the sentence, they will not change. They will remain unchanged. That's therefore non-finite verbs. In fact, a participle. Now we have the next one, and that's the gerund. And gerund means it's a word or a non-finite verb that behaves both a verb and a noun. For example, if you look at these gerunds, you will find them both as nouns and verbs. They have a force or the nature or the behavior or the character of both a noun and a verb. And you need to remember this, that this gerund, it's only, you will find this only in one form, and that is ing in form. For example, look at the first example. Reading increases our knowledge. Here the increase, it's a verb in first form. Therefore, it shows the present time or present tense because this is simple. Present tense. Now we have a word reading. And this reading, it's a gerund. Now how? Because this reading, it has a force, it has a nature, or it behaves both verb and a noun. I will show you how. For example, the basic syntax in English language or the sentence syntax is subject followed by verb followed by object. And we know the nature of subject is noun and the nature of object is again a noun. Now see, here increases, it's a main verb. And this reading, it acts as a subject. It acts as a subject of the main verb. Therefore, subject, when it acts as a subject, it has surely the nature of a noun. But at the same time, if you look at this reading, it's derived from a root word or a root verb, read. Therefore, it has a force of a verb also. Therefore, noun and verb, it has a force or the nature of both noun and verb. Therefore, we call it gerund. Again, this gerund, it's a non-finite verb. For example, now if you want to change the tense of the sentence, this gerund, it will not change. It will remain unchanged. It's only the finite verb that will change. For example, here the first sentence, it's in simple present. I will change it into future tense. Reading will increase our knowledge. Now here will increase. And reading, it remains same. And again, this sentence, the first sentence, it is a simple sentence. Why? because here we have only one finite verb, and that one finite verb is increases. Okay. Now look at the second sentence. Our second sentence is I like reading. I, this is subject. Like, this is verb in first form. Therefore, it is a finite verb because it shows the time of an action. And the reading here, it's again a gerund. How it's a gerund? Because here it has a force of a noun and a verb. How? It has a force of a verb because it is derived from the root verb, that's a read. And how it has the force of a noun? Because here it acts as object of the main verb. Object of the main verb, that's like. And you know the object has the force of a noun. Therefore, this sentence or this word, reading, it has a force of noun and verb. And therefore, we call it gerund. And as I told you that the gerund, it sometimes it acts as a subject of the main verb, sometimes it acts as an object of the main verb, or sometimes it acts as an object of the preposition. If you look at the third sentence, we have I, this is subject, and then we have locked out, and this is verb in second form. This is verb in second form, this finite verb, because it shows the past tense, it shows the past time. And there's one more word, that's a biking. And what's this for? For is a preposition. Here, the biking gerund, it becomes object of the preposition, that is for. Therefore, you need to understand, if you will find verbs like participle, gerund, or infinitive in a sentence, don't confuse those the sentence maybe, or maybe the compound or complex sentence. No, that's not the criteria. If you want to really, if you want to know what's simple sentence, if you want to identify simple sentence, you need to know what's finite verb. And what's now simple sentence? Simple sentence, a sentence that carries one finite verb. Now, if you all these examples, they were simple sentences. They were examples of simple sentences because they carry only one finite verb. Yes, of course, there were other verbs like infinitives, like gerund, like participle, but they are non-finite verbs. Now, the next one is compound sentence. Is a sentence that carries two main class. That carries two or more than two main class. And here we connected these main class with the help of coordinating conjunctions like fanboys. F stands for, A stands for N stands for no, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for yet, and S stands for so. Now, here you need to understand this compound sentence, a sentence that carries two or more than two principal class, main class, or independent class. And what's this independent class? Independent class is a class, if you take away it from the main sentence, it will give complete sense, it will give complete meaning. And here we connected these independent class or the main class with the help of coordinating conjunctions like fanboys. And one more thing I want to make you clear, what's this class? Class, to make it more simple, it's actually a group of words again that carries one finite verb. Or a short sentence within a long sentence having its subject or verb, or a short sentence within a long sentence having at least one finite verb. Now here we have examples of these compound sentence. Look at the first sentence. We have Philip and John like to study in the morning. Philip, this is noun. Then we have a John, another noun. And then we have and, this is coordinating conjunction. And then we have the like is a finite verb. And then we have to study. This is infinitive to plus verb in first form, that means base form. And then we have in, this is preposition, the, this is article, and the morning. Okay, now don't take this sentence as a simple sentence. Yes, big, yes, of course, we have here one finite verb, that's like only one finite verb. But this sentence, it's a combination of two clauses. In fact, we have combined two independent clauses with the help of a coordinating conjunction, that is and. For example, these two clauses were Philip likes to study in the morning. And the second clause is John likes to study in the morning. Now here we have two clauses. And these two clauses, they have their subjects and they have their one finite verb. In the first sentence, it is a Philip, that subject, and the likes, this is finite verb. And to study, this is again infinitive to plus verb in first form, that is non-finite verb. If we take these sentences separately, for example, the first sentence, of course, that is simple sentence. This Philip likes to study in the morning. And the second sentence, if I take it separately, like John likes to study in the morning, again, this is simple sentence. Because the first sentence carries one finite verb, therefore it's simple sentence. And the second sentence also carry one finite verb, therefore that's simple sentence. But when we combine these two clauses, with the help of coordinating conjunction like and, it becomes a compound sentence. That means it's made up of two independent clauses. If we separate one clause from the main sentence, it will give complete sense. Or if we separate any clause from the main sentence, it will give complete sense or the complete meaning. Like here, Philip likes to study in the morning. It gives the complete sense. And the next one, John likes to study in the morning. Again, it gives the complete sense. And here we have combined these two independent clauses with the help of coordinating conjunction, and that's and. Now the next one is Eliza goes to the library and studies every day. Here again, we have two clauses. And these two clauses, they have been connected by a coordinating conjunction, and that coordinating conjunction is and. Now look here. Our sentence is like this. Eliza goes to the library. And the second one is Eliza studies every day. Now here we have two verbs, and one verb is goes and the second verb is the studies. And these two verbs have a common subject, and that's Eliza. In fact, these are the two clauses. Eliza goes to the library, Eliza studies every day. And we have combined these two clauses with the help of coordinating conjunction, that's and. And there's no need to write the subject twice, because the subject is same, only the verbs are different. Therefore, it is better to keep a single subject, and then we can connect these clauses with the help of a coordinating conjunction like and. And here one thing you need to remember. Place a semicolon in between two main clauses if you do not put and or coordinating conjunction between two clauses. For example, sometimes this coordinating conjunction, it can be replaced by a semicolon. We just put a semicolon in order to replace a coordinating conjunctions. And now these are the different examples of compound sentence. Here look, I'm ready to go. My brother has not reached home yet. If you look at these two classes, they are independent. If you take away one class or any class from the sentence, it will give complete sense. What is the first one? I'm ready to go. It gives the complete sense. Now the second class, my brother has not reached home yet. Again, it gives the complete sense. Here we have two independent class. Here we have two main class, principal class, and we have connected these two main class, principal class, with the help of coordinating conjunction, and that's but. Now the next one is Jerry did not complete his homework, so the teacher punished him. Now again we have two main class, and these two main class they are connected by a coordinating conjunction, and that is so. Now the next one, my brother should drop me, or I cannot make it to the reception. Now if you look at this sentence, again we have two main class, and if you take any of these main class away from the sentence, or if you separate this any of the main class from the main sentence, that main class will give the complete sense. That's why we call it main class. Like here, my brother should drop me, it gives the complete sense. I cannot make it to the reception, again it makes the complete sense. And here we have combined two main class with the help of coordinating conjunction, and that's so. Now we have the next one, that's the complex sentence. A complex sentence is one which consists of at least one main class and one or more than one subordinate class or dependent classes. Now, what's this complex sentence? Complex sentence is a sentence that carry one main class and one or more than one dependent class. In a complex sentence, it's important to have one main clause. Yes, there can be one or more than one dependent class or the subordinate class. And here we combine these dependent class or the subordinate class with subordinating conjunctions like verbs. What's this verbs? W stands for when, A stands for after, B stands for because, B stands for before, I stands for if, and T stands for though, and S stands for since. But here it's important to know that in a complex sentence, we must have one main class, principal class, and one or more than one dependent class or subordinate class. Here we have the examples of these complex sentences. After we finish school, let's go to play in the park. If you look at the first sentence, here we have two class, and these two class they have been separated by a comma. And here you need to remember, when we start the sentence with the subordinating conjunction, we put a comma between the class, like here. After, this is subordinating conjunction. Here, as I told you, verb when, A stands for after. Now, after the subordinating, if you start a sentence with the subordinating conjunction, you have to put comma between two class, like here. And we, this is subject, and finish this verb in first form. Now, if you look, after we finish circle, this is the one class. In fact, it is a subordinate class because it doesn't give the complete sense or the complete meaning. For meaning, it's dependent on the main class. And what's that main class? Let's go to play in the park. Likewise, we have this example here. If you look at this, here, if, again, this is subordinating conjunction. As I told you, when you start a sentence with subordinating conjunction, you have to put comma between the class. And this is subject, rains, this is verb in first form. Be subject, shall, helping verb, verb in first form. Now here we have two clauses. The first one is if it rains. If I separate this clause from the main sentence, it doesn't give complete sense. If it rains, what next? What then? If it rains, it doesn't give complete sense, it doesn't give complete meaning. Therefore, we can say that this is a subordinate clause. Now look at the next one. We shall get wet. It gives the complete sense, it gives the complete meaning. Therefore, it's a main clause. Here, the second one, Latha did not finish all the work because she reached home late. Here again we have two clauses, and these two clauses they have been connected by coordinating conjunction, and that's because. Uh, Now the next one is I will be on my way as soon as my brother picks me up. Again, here we have a coordinate, this subordinating conjunctions, and we have connected these sentences, this clause with the subordinating conjunction. Remember, this complex sentence, a sentence that carries one main clause and one or more than one subordinate clause or dependent clause. For example, if I write like this, if I find a job, I will help you. Now look at the sentence here. We have two clauses. The first one is if I had a job, that means the subordinating clause. And it doesn't give sense. If I find a job, then what next? It doesn't give complete meaning, complete sense. Therefore, we can say that this is a subordinating clause or dependent clause. And the next one is I will help you. It's the main clause. If we separate this clause from the main sentence, it will give the complete sense, it will give the complete meaning. Now here, we have complex sentence with the relative clause as dependent sentence. For example, my brother who completed his mechanical engineering degree is now working at the boat. So now here we have this who. This is the complex sentence with the relative clause as the dependent clause. Here, what we do, we take this or we put this extra information between two commas, like here, who complete his mechanical engineering. Here, we have this, the first one, the relative clause, that is, who completed his mechanical engineering degree. And the next one is the independent clause, my brother is working at the bus. Now here, we have the next one here, like here, the hotel where we had our farewell dinner is being shut down. Now, if you look at this sentence, the where we had our farewell dinner, this extra information, that's why we put this extra information between the two commas. And this is the relative clause where we had our farewell dinner. And the next one is the hotel is being shut down. That's the main clause. These are some books. These are some books for further reading. If you want to know more and more about uh, the simple compound and complex sentence, you can take. And rest we will take in the next video lecture. We will talk about the transformation of sentence, how we can transform simple sentence into compound and compound into complex and vice versa. There are different rules. But in order to understand the transformation of this sentence, we need to know the different types of clause like noun clause, adjective clause, adverb clause. We will take all those rules of transformation in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.